There's one. There's another one. And another one.
Get more than you ever imagined when you trade your games for something new at GameStop, where 150 titles are worth $15 or more.
GameStop is an American video game consumer electronics and gaming merchandise retailer. The company was founded in 1984 as Babbage's, and their name was changed to GameStop in 1999. The company was founded by Leonard Riggio, Daniel DiMatteo, and Richard Fontaine. And to this very day, the company is still alive and healthy. So how did it become so popular? Well, let's find out. Babbage's, 1984 to 1994. GameStop traces its roots to Babbage's, a Dallas, Texas-based software retailer founded in 1984 by former Harvard Business School classmates James McCurry and Gary M. Cousin. The company was named after Charles Babbage and opened its first store in Dallas's North Park Center with the help of Ross Perot, an early investor in the company. The company quickly began to focus on video game sales for the then dominant Atari 2600. Babbage's began selling Nintendo games in 1987. The company went public in 1988. By 1991, video games accounted for 2/3 of Babbage's sales. NeoStar Retail Group from 1994 to 1996. Babbage's merged with Software Etc., an Indiana, Minnesota-based retailer that specialized in personal computing software, to create NeoStar Retail Group in 1994. The merger was structured as a stock swap, where shareholders of Babbage's and Software Etc. received shares of NeoStar, a newly formed holding company. Babbage's and Software Etc. continued to operate as independent subsidiaries of NeoStar and retained their respective senior management teams. Babbage's founder and chairman James McCurry became chairman of NeoStar, while Babbage's president Gary Cousin and Software Etc. president Daniel DiMatteo retained their respective titles. Software Etc. chairman Leonard Riggio became chairman and NeoStar's executive committee. Gary Cousin resigned as president of Babbage's in February 1995 to start a cosmetics company. Daniel DiMatteo, formerly president of Software Etc., assumed Cousin's duties and was promoted to president and chief operating officer of NeoStar. NeoStar chairman James McCurry was also appointed to the newly created position of NeoStar CEO. The company relocated from its headquarters in Dallas to Grapevine later that year. NeoStar merged its Babbage's and Software Etc. units into a single organization in May 1996, amid declining sales. Company president Daniel DiMatteo also resigned, and NeoStar chairman and CEO James McCurry assumed the title of president. In September of that year, after NeoStar was unable to secure the credits necessary to purchase an inventory necessary for the holiday season, the company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. With the filing, NeoStar board member Thomas G. Plaskett became chairman, and James McCurry remained company chief executive and president. The leadership changes were not enough, and in November 1996, the assets of NeoStar were purchased for $58.5 million by Leonard Riggio, a founder of Software Etc. and chairman and principal stockholder of Barnes & Noble. Electronics Boutique had also bid to purchase NeoStar, but the judge presiding over NeoStar's bankruptcy accepted Riggio's bid because it kept open 108 stores, more than Electronic Boutiques would have. Approximately 200 retail stores were not included in the transaction and were subsequently closed. Babbage's, etc. from 1996 to 1999. Following his purchase of Neostar's assets, Leonard Riggio dissolved the holding company and created a new holding company named Babbage's, etc. He appointed Richard Dick Fontaine, previously Software Etc's chief executive during its expansion in the late 1980s and early 1990s, as Babbage, etc.'s chief executive. Daniel DiMatteo, previously the president of both Software Etc. and Neostar, became company president and COO. 3 years later, in 1999, Babbage's, etc. launched its GameStop brand with 30 stores located in strip malls. The company also launched GameStop.com, a website that allowed consumers to purchase video games online. GameStop.com was promoted in Babbage's and Software Etc. stores. Barnes & Noble booksellers from 1999 to 2004. Barnes & Noble booksellers purchased Babbage's, etc. in October 1999 for $215 million. Because Babbage's, etc. was principally owned by Leonard Riggio, who was also Barnes & Noble's chairman and principal shareholder, a special committee of independent directors of Barnes & Noble booksellers evaluated and signed off on the deal. A few months later, in May 2000, Barnes & Noble acquired Funko, an Eden Prairie, Minnesota-based video game retailer, for $160 million. Babbage's, etc., which had been previously operating as a direct subsidiary of Barnes & Noble, became a wholly owned subsidiary of Funko. With its acquisition of Funko, also known as FuncoLand, Barnes & Noble also acquired Game Informer, a video game magazine that was purchased in 1991. Funko was renamed GameStop Incorporated in December 2000 in anticipation of holding an initial public offering for the company. Barnes & Noble booksellers took GameStop public with a February 2002 initial public offering on the New York Stock Exchange. GameStop was listed under the ticker symbol GME. Barnes & Noble retained control over the newly public company with 67% of outstanding shares and 95% of voting shares. Barnes & Noble retained control over GameStop until October 2004, when it distributed its 59% stake in GameStop to stakeholders of Barnes & Noble, making it an independent company. GameStop's successful years from 2004 to 2016. GameStop acquired EB Games, formerly Electronic Boutique, in 2005 for $1.44 billion. The accusation expanded GameStop's operations into Europe, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. 2 years later, in 2007, GameStop acquired Rhino Video Games from Blockbuster an undisclosed amount. Rhino Video Games operated 70 video game stores throughout the southeastern United States. GameStop purchased 3 record shops Norwegian stores in April 2008. The company acquired 49 stores and converted them into video game shops. Daniel DiMatteo replaced Richard Fontaine as GameStop CEO in August 2008. DiMatteo had served as company COO since 1996. Fontaine, who had been GameStop chairman and CEO since 1996, remained as the company's chairman. J. Paul Raines, formerly executive vice president of Home Depot, became company COO in September. GameStop acquired Micromania, a French video game retailer, in October 2008 for $700 million. GameStop, which had previously owned no stores in France, now had 332 French video game stores. It had also acquired a majority stake in Jolt Online Gaming, an Irish browser-based game studio, in November 2009. Jolt closed in 2012. J. Paul Raines became GameStop CEO in June 2010. He replaced Daniel DiMatteo, who was named executive chairman of the company. While serving as CEO in 2012, GameStop's digital revenue grew from 190 million in 2011 to more than $600 million
purchased the game,
in
and now I've got more
2012.
boost than my stepsister's
GameStop acquired Conjure Great, a San Francisco, California-based website for browser-based games.
With gold for
Terms of the deal were not disclosed.
Miserable and meaningless.
GameStop acquired Spawn Labs and Impulse in separate transactions during 2011. Spawn Labs was a developer of technology that allowed users to play video games that were run remotely on machines in data centers rather than their personal computer or console. Impulse was a digital distribution and multiplayer gaming platform.
I used to think eating
GameStop
tapioca
closed
pudding
Spawn
and playing
Labs in
bingo was a thrill.
2014.
But thanks to
GameStop purchased BuyMytronics, a Denver, Colorado-based online marketplace for consumer electronics, in 2012. Later that year, it acquired a minority interest in Simply Mac, a Utah-based authorized Apple reseller.
It's worth its weight in
GameStop
gold.
acquired the renaming 50.1% interest in Simply Mac in November 2013. GameStop also acquired Spring Mobile, a Salt Lake City, Utah-based retailer of AT&T branded wireless services in November 2013. They obtained 163 Radio Shack locations as of February 26, 2015 as well. All GameStop stores have been closed down in Puerto Rico at the end of March 2016. Citing increased rates of government taxes. On August 3rd, 2016, it acquired 507 AT&T store chains and plans to diversify into new businesses and less dependent on the video game market. And then we come to the present, which is decline.
Every time a bell rings.
Changes in market conditions. The market for physical game media has been in state of decline since online services such as Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, Nintendo eShop, and Steam, all of which offer downloadable digital versions of games, have taken foothold. GameStop, whose business was long rooted in new and pre-owned software, has begun feeling the effects of the changing market. In 2017, GameStop reported a 16.4% drop in sales for the 2016 holiday season, but expressed optimism in its non-physical gaming businesses. Reasons cited for the decline in sales included industry weakness, promotional pricing pressure, and lower in-store traffic.
What about all we've
Financial losses.
The killer levels,
shares of GameStop fell. Shares of GameStop.
Isn't that worth something?
Shares of GameStop stock fell 16% throughout 2016. On February 28, 2017, shares have dropped an additional 8% following Microsoft's announcement of its Xbox Game Pass service. Following these reports, GameStop announced it would close over 150 stores in 2017 and expand its non-gaming business. On the same day, however, GameStop said it planned to open 65 new technology brand stores and 35 collectibles stores due to a 44% and 28% increase in sales respectively. GameStop expects a continued drop in operating income between 3% and 10% in 2017. GameStop's total revenue fell from 7.6% to $3.6 billion in the quarter ended February 2nd. Analysts had estimated revenue of $3.28 billion. The fourth quarter of fiscal 2018 contained 13 weeks of operating results compared to 14 weeks in fiscal 2017. In late June 2018, GameStop confirmed talks of a possible sale with Seymour Partners, a private equity firm in New York. The most likely buyer with a target deal expected by February 2019. However, on January 29th, 2019, GameStop reported it had stopped looking for a buyer for the company due to a lack of available financing on terms that would be commercially acceptable to prospective acquirer, and was looking for other actions to help re-establish its financial ground. Shares dropped 27% to a 14-year low immediately following this announcement. The financial results for 2018 showed the biggest loss in GameStop company history. For the 52-week period ending on February 2nd, 2019, GameStop reported a record-breaking net loss of $673 million. This was a change from the net profit of $34.7 million in the previous year. The net sales for fiscal year 2018 were down year-on-year to $8.29 billion, a decrease of 3%. Management changes. Paul Raines notified GameStop of his resignation on January 31st, 2018. Raines had been on medical leave since November 2017. He had a medical reoccurrence of a brain tumor and later died on March 4, 2018.
Hang on.
DiMatteo, GameStop's executive chairman, stepped in as an interim chief executive officer. On February 6, 2018, the company announced Michael Kerr Mahler as the new CEO and new member of the board of directors. On May 11, 2018, Mahler resigned due to personal reasons, and chairman Dan Matteo was named interim CEO. Mahler did not take any severance package or separation benefits. On May 31st, 2018, GameStop named Shane Kim as interim CEO. Kim was replaced by George Sherman in March 2019. On March 12, 2020, it was announced that a group of shareholders, including Hestia Capital Partners LP and Permit Capital Enterprise Fund LP, sent a threat letter to Grapevine, Texas, company's board, or urging it to appoint a stockholder representative as a director. Turnaround efforts. In July 2019, GameStop partnered with an outside design firm, r/JA, to put forth plans to revamp stores to focus on competitive gaming and retro gaming, and introduce new ways for customers to try games before buying them. Each concept store is expected to be mutually exclusive. A leaked email revealed on July 31st, 2019, indicated that 50 employees, including district and regional managers, would be laid off as a result of organization efforts. Later in August 2019, GameStop laid off over 120 positions, including about half of the staff of the Game Informer, as part of their GameStop Reboot initiative to transform our business for the future and improve our financial performance. In August 2019, Michael Burry's investment firm, Sycon Assessed Management, sent a letter to GameStop urging the company to engage in a portion of stock buybacks. The letter also revealed that Sycon currently owns approximately 2,750,000 store shares, or about 30.5% of GME. GME, which has been in steady decline in share price since late January 2019, saw a spike of roughly 20% after Burry revealed that he's going long on the stock in an interview with Barron's. In the interview, Burry explained that both Sony and Microsoft will enter the next console generation with a physical disk drive and therefore likely extend the longevity of GameStop. He also noted that the company's balance sheet was in good condition. However, he later went on to lower his stake in GameStop stock. After reporting that it has missed analysts' expectations during their second quarter of the fiscal year in 2019, ending August 2019, as reported in September 2019, GameStop announced that it has plans to close about 180 to 200 underperforming stores of the 5,700 it had worldwide in short term, along with developing metrics to evaluate other potential closures over the next 2 years. In March 2020, 4 members of GameStop's board of directors, Dan DiMatteo, Gerald Sisbizaski, Larry Zalby, and Steve Koonin stepped down and were replaced by Reggie Fils-Aimé, who you may know as the guy who retired from Nintendo, Bill Simon, and J.K. Simonak as part of the company's effort to turn around the business. The COVID-19 pandemic forced GameStop to close the physical operation of all of its 3,500 stores from roughly March to May 2020. Though not without the same controversy in the early stages, you can see about the COVID-19 pandemic in many articles and responses online. Though it was still able to handle online and curbside sales, Sherman and the board of directors took a 50% pay cut, while other executives took 30% to offset losses, while digital sales grew by 519%, its retail dropped by more than 30% in the same period from the prior year, and the chain reported $165 million in loss, contrast to a $6.8 million for the same quarter in 2019. However, with the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 still planned for release in the latter part of 2020, Sherman expected to be able to recover from these losses. And there's a history of GameStop. How did it become so popular? Well, I would have to say that its stock being primarily based around video games. And let's also say some videos online as well. Anyways, I sure hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys haven't enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit that like button, and also don't forget to subscribe. And until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!